Hello everyone, this is Craig from CHMA Programming. Just wanted to wish you a happy holidays and a wonderful new year. Hope you spend it with the ones you love and keep listening. Listen to The Night Shift every Sunday at 9 p.m. on CHMA to hear Luca Capone spin a diverse, adventurous mix of sounds from psychedelic jazz to experimental hip-hop, tropicalia to music concrete, and a heavy focus on Canadian and independent artists. This is a show you don't want to miss out on.
Hi, this is Kevinique, and you're listening to CHMA 106.
Hi, my name is Krista, and you're listening to...
The time is 9 o'clock, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements.
Hello, this is Clinton Davis with your local CHMA News. NB Power returns to Sackville as opposition hardens over the proposed gas plant. Did they change any minds? Let's get into it. On Wednesday night, Brad Cody and team returned to Tantramar to answer questions from the public about its proposed methane gas, also known as natural gas, power plant near Centre Village in Tantramar. After a presentation, Brad Cody took questions for just over 2 hours straight. The Mount Allison campus Crabtree Auditorium felt packed with just under 175 attendees there. This public meeting was hosted by the Tantramar Climate Change Advisory Committee. Brad Cody is the Vice President of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships at NB Power.
So we're aligned in where we need to take this province. We are trying to achieve a net zero future for New Brunswick. We need to do it responsibly. We need to protect energy security.
Many of NB Power's talking points were familiar. However, at this meeting, some new tidbits emerged. Cody emphasized new constraints in the Southeast transmission system, acknowledged that battery costs have changed but remain prohibitive at scale, and finally clarified that some capacity figures are forecast rather than commitment, meaning the claimed 7% usage would rely heavily on when future renewables came online. And over the course of the night, Cody focused on two central arguments. The first message that this plant is meant to support a renewable future. Cody said the plant is not meant to replace wind or solar, but to back them up when they fall short.
This project is more about renewable integration than it is about grid security. We don't have that flexibility today. We actually, in the last year, signed more PPAs to actually triple the amount of wind that we have in our province. We have expressions of interest out on the street right now for more battery storage. We have a short list of projects that we're working with the Government of Canada on to say, can we get those financed to go beyond the tripling of renewable energy in our system?
A second main message was that the proposed plant would be better than what NB Power already relies on elsewhere in the system, thereby contributing to the net zero goal. Cody compared NB Power's proposed usage of the plant to coal and fuel-heavy plants still in use, citing that jet engines could turn on and off within 6 minutes, whereas current plants in use often can burn fuel for 36 to 72 hours before being ready to actually generate electricity. Cody stated that if this project does not get green light approval,
it's going to have a massive disruption on the province of New Brunswick in each and every one of our lives. All right.
Again, showing diagrams in a presentation, Cody emphasized that transmission congestion in southeast New Brunswick had made it hard to move power in from elsewhere. But he also acknowledged that the process felt rushed.
We are the pitcher province, and yet I work for an energy utility. I have 2 young daughters, and I'm trying to say, how do we make this place better for them when we pass them on? But yet I'm here in front of you talking about a gas turbine project. And I do understand that it's a hard thing to wrestle.
And presented the crowd with a personal story of a blackout he once experienced.
I lived through a blackout event. 3 people died in that event because they were trying to protect their families and coming up with alternative heating sources for their homes. We had a lineman killed in that event as well as they were trying to restore power. That's the other side of the reality of this. We need to make sure that we have a safe system for people to enjoy so that they can live their lives comfortably in New Brunswick.
As the microphones moved into the audience, it became clear the questions weren't only about how the plant would operate, but about answers they felt were not clear or potentially misleading. Questions from the room covered a wide range of concerns. Environmental impacts were front and center, water quality concern, impacts on land, wildlife, and future generations. Speakers also raised questions about Indigenous responsibility to the land, with elders speaking, and about everyone's shared relationship to the place, including animals and ecosystems. Students spoke up alongside seniors. Health concerns followed, including chronic illness, air quality, and long-term exposure. One of several recurring themes through the night was suspicion that rising power demand isn't being driven by people at all, but by artificial intelligence and large data centers. Some residents tied that concern to U.S. technology companies and American energy politics.
When President Trump took office last winter, he publicly vowed to make oil and gas America's #1 economic focus. The American administration has merged with big tech to push extremely lucrative and ecologically destructive AI data centers. This is not a surge for us people. This is a surge for AI.
Cody denied that claim repeatedly. This came up both during the meeting and during a press meeting afterwards.
After we started the planning process for this 400 megawatt Tantramar, the Riggs project that we talk about, then we saw new data centers be proposed for New Brunswick. That's not a part of the plan. That's not a part of the reason or rationale why we're advancing this 400 megawatt project for New Brunswick.
The same resident wanted to know.
My question is, how are you going to back out of this contract? What are the fees you have to pay? What happens to enable this contract to be?
The resident's microphone was shut off due to a brief argument with the mediator, as well as it having been stated that they had gone over their time more than once. Alongside a softer approach, Cody appeared confident NB Power had no intent of reconsidering the project, putting it all in the hands of the Energy Utilities Board.
So there is no avenue to cancel the contract unless it's not approved by an environmental regulator, the province of New Brunswick in this case, or the Energy Utilities Board. If you wind back the clock, when ProEnergy was selected as the preferred vendor for this project, it was 2024. Canada had a Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, and America had President Joe Biden. And a lot happened since then.
Some residents questioned whether public opposition could still change the outcome, especially given NB Power's contractual commitments. For many people in the room, those explanations didn't appear to be the central issue. One resident questioned whether New Brunswick's power demand is still growing fast enough to even justify this plan. They also asked why NB Power couldn't wait or scale the project differently. After the meeting, reporters asked whether delaying the project could actually lead to rolling blackouts, similar to Cody's statement earlier that future plans for blackouts in Prince Edward Island were already being discussed. Throughout the night, NB Power cited the Federal Fish Act concerns as a reason a similar plant could not be built in Skaduk. At the same time, the utility has said it intends to pursue additional generation there later in the decade, with details continuing to be unclear. That left some residents questioning how environmental constraints could apply in one case but not the other. NB Power did not directly address that contradiction during the meeting. Across many of the exchanges, residents returned less to NB Power's reasons for the project and more to what they felt had been left out. Again and again, speakers reiterated that the explanations given by NB Power did not outweigh their opposition to placing a fuel-burning jet turbine on the Chignecto Isthmus. Across all those themes, one theme came through clearly. They rejected the location outright. It appears that no amount of technical argument is going to change that opinion. Near the end of the night, Cody shifted the tone. A values-based question from earlier prompted a more personal response.
So if you ask me what kind of a person I am, I guess I'm on the fence, aren't I?
NB Power's position remains unchanged. Opposition remains unresolved. And the final decision now rests with regulators. Energy and Utilities Board hearings are expected to begin early next month. I'm Clinton Davis for CHMA News here in Tantramar.
Hi, my name is Sejong, and you're listening to CHMA.
And here is your CHMA
Hey, this is Noor, and
Atlantic update for Friday, January the 16th. Health BEI has declared an influenza outbreak at an inpatient unit in Kings County Memorial Hospital. In response, the provincial agency has restricted visitors to the unit. It's also asking visitors and staff at the hospital, including the emergency department, to follow infection control measures, including to wear a mask at all times. Last week, the province reported 58 new influenza cases and has counted 370 total cases on its surveillance dashboard for 2025-26 respiratory illness season. New Brunswick says its new guidelines for releasing inmates from jails will improve public safety. The province says that people transitioning back into the community will be assessed earlier and more consistently. That includes a better coordination for housing, healthcare, and community supports before an inmate is released. The government says that inmates in provincial jails will also have the opportunity to participate in their release plan. In St. John, police say that two 18-year-olds who allegedly tried to flee from police in a stolen vehicle multiple times will make a court appearance in April. Investigators say officers attempted to stop a Subaru Outback several times on Wednesday night after it was reported stolen from the Charlotte Street South area. After the Subaru company remotely shut off the vehicle, it was located in a parking lot in Metawaganish Road. The driver was apprehended after a brief foot pursuit by police, while the passenger, tracked by a police dog, was later located in a shrink-wrapped boat in a business on Fairlane Boulevard. The mother of two missing children in Nova Scotia alleges that her common-law partner was sometimes physically abusive and hurt her. That new unsealed court documents include unproven allegations and excerpts from interviews with Mahalia Brooks Murray. On May 2nd, 2025, she called 911 to report that her 4-year-old Jack Sullivan and 6-year-old Lily Sullivan had wandered away from their home north of Halifax. According to police, Brooks Murray told investigators the children's stepfather, Daniel Martle, would sometimes hold her down and once pushed her. When reached by phone, Martle denied the allegations and said they're part of a narrative designed to make him look evil. Halifax Regional Council is poised to debate bylaw changes that could impose more oversight on drivers working for ride-hailing companies like Uber and Lyft. Uber is opposed to the proposed changes, saying they would lead to higher fares, excessive red tape, additional fees for drivers, and no improvements in passenger safety. Uber's Canadian service was launched in 2012 in Toronto and by 2022 had expanded to 140 municipalities in 9 provinces, including Halifax. Halifax Council is expected to discuss the proposals at the next meeting on January 27th. And a man was arrested yesterday after allegedly making threats that led to a lockdown at the Kings County Memorial Hospital in Montague. Charlottetown police say a man made a threat over the phone against a healthcare worker. The hospital and nearby clinics were locked down for a brief time, but soon reopened. Police say it appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to public safety. And 4 Nova Scotians received a provincial medal for bravery in Halifax. Garrett Hunt of Lower Sackville received a medal for rescuing a man from a burning home last year. Richard McPhee, Ryan O'Shea, and Scott Refuse were honored for helping rescue 2 missing snowmobilers in Cape Breton. Premier Tim Houston handed out the medals yesterday. And that is your CHMA Atlantic update. Here's some weather for you for today. It's going to be a big switch up in weather. It's currently pretty warm out. The walk-in was pretty nice, and the Environment Canada was reporting yesterday that the temperature is going to drop significantly by this afternoon. It's currently observed as 3 degrees here, and no wind chill has been recorded. But today, periods of rain changing to flurries near noon, blowing snow over exposed areas late this afternoon, and rainfall about 5 millimeters, snowfall about 2 centimeters. Wind chill minus 15 by this afternoon. So it's +3 now. It's going to be going down to feel like minus 15 this afternoon. Tonight, flurries ending this evening before clearing and blowing snow over exposed areas in the evening. Wind west 40 gusting to 60 at times, diminishing to 20 to 40 later in the evening. Low of minus 10. Wind chill near minus 18 tonight. My gosh. Saturday, January the 17th, increased cloudiness, 60% chance of flurries. By Saturday afternoon, wind up to 15 kilometers an hour, high of -3. Wind chill -16 in the morning and -8 in the afternoon. For Saturday night, periods of snow and low of -4. For Sunday, January the 18th, cloudy with a high of 0. For Sunday night, periods of snow and a low of -5. Coming in on Mondays, periods of snow continuing, high of 0. And Monday night, cloudy with a 30% chance of flurries and a low of -9. A mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday with a 30% chance of flurries and a high of -8. For Tuesday night, cloudy periods with a low of -20. For January the 21st, Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud, high of -12. Wednesday night, cloudy periods with a low of -14. Cloudy with a 60% chance of flurries with a high of -5 on Thursday, January 22nd. That is your CHMA Atlantic update. Got Brian Nielsen right now with your sports update from 8:30 this morning earlier on. Take it away, Brian.
Last night in Riverview, Danica Finney played the hero for the Tantramar Regional High School girls hockey team. They traveled to the big city, and after Victoria Noonan ties it up, Danica Finney scores in overtime to give the Titans the 2-1 victory in high school hockey action. Over in the NBA, yesterday in Berlin, it was the Orlando Magic defeating the Memphis Grizzlies 118-111. Back stateside, it was the Pistons with a 3-point victory over the Suns 108-105. Celtics by 5 over the Heat in Miami 119-114. Thunder taking out the Rockets by 20 in Houston 111-91. It was the Spurs by 18 over the Bucks 119-101. Mavericks defeat the Jazz 144-122. Warriors with the 126-113 victory over the New York Knicks. It was the Blazers by 16 over the visiting Atlanta Hawks up in the Rose City 117-101. And the Charlotte Hornets on the road defeat the Los Angeles Lakers 135-117. In NHL action yesterday, a whole swath of games for you, starting with the Buffalo Sabres continuing their winning ways. They defeat the visiting Canadians 5-3. It was the Penguins doubling up the Flyers 6-3 in the Battle of Pennsylvania. Sharks with a 3-2 victory over the Capitals on the road. Blue Jackets defeat the Canucks 4-1 in Columbus. Bruins double up the Kraken at home 4-2. Jets on the road over the Wild. They win 6-2. Flames with a 3-1 victory in Chicago over that squad. A 2-1 victory for the Utah Mammoth over the visiting Dallas Stars. Islanders on the road in the City of Champions. They shut out the Oilers 1-0, and in overtime, after giving up an early lead, the Vegas Golden Knights defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-5. Coming up and looking ahead for sports this weekend, the Mounties hockey team, they're going to be on the road in Fredericton. They play UNB tonight and then St. Thomas tomorrow. Basketball squad, they're also on the road this weekend with back-to-back games against the Tommies of St. Thomas and Fredericton, both Saturday and Sunday. But if you do want to catch some sports on campus, the women's volleyball team is hosting UMBSJ at 2 p.m. tomorrow, and then the Dalhousie Rams 1 p.m. on Sunday. NFL playoffs begin this weekend with the number 1 seeds seeing action, with the first game on Saturday seeing the Denver Broncos host the Buffalo Bills. The late game has the 49ers hosting the Seattle Seahawks, Texans, Patriots on Sunday, and then the Rams go to Chicago to face off the Bears for a trip to the NFC Championship. And if you're interested, it's Hockey Day in Canada tomorrow in Moncton, New Brunswick, with a couple hockey games for you, both a U Sports 1 for the women of Moncton, and the Wildcats are in action tomorrow night at the Avenir Center. And that is your
CHMA Sports Update for Friday, January the 16th. See, that's how Brian and I, we just know each other so well. we can finish each other's sentences. Okay, well, around this time, it is 9:20. We usually get into some local updates, see what is happening in and around the marshes, double checking on socials, see if there's any big news from the municipality. And there is another response that they've just posted, a media release regarding the Sackville Fire and Rescue operations, and that was released just yesterday. So that, I believe, if the count is right, that's the third one. So that is regarding... there was 2 concurrent fires, so they did an update on that. So you can check that out. It'll probably be covered on the CHMA News. Of course, Clinton's doing an incredible job, as well as Katie, with the CHMA News. We greatly appreciate all their efforts. And please be sure to check out chmafm.com for our most recent articles and our local briefs, and be sure to subscribe while you're there and get updates for the newsletters. But continuing on with community updates, they want to get the word out that Beavers and Cubs are invited. Okay, so Beavers and Cubs are invited to a free open gym on Wednesday nights at the Dorchester School Gym. So that's, I think I might have read that as it was open, but I guess it's specific to the Beavers and Cubs, excuse me. Well, I would guess in this kind of situation, if you were of the ages of 0 to 18 and you're interested in going to the Dorchester Open Gym, then you might want to check in with the municipality and clarify if you need to be with the Beavers and Cubs, or if you can just go without being invited. Leaders have generously volunteered their times to supervise, giving kids another option to burn off some energy during the cooler, darker months. Great idea. It's a free drop-in program, so take advantage. And it's in the poster, the image promo. They don't mention anything specific about Beavers and Cubs, but just check in on that, because it is a great thing, and kids of all ages do need to burn off some extra energy in these dark days, and that is a great way to do it. Tantramar is also offering a new after-school girls empowerment program this winter for girls grades 5 to 8, and will take place at the Bill Johnstone Park. The group will spend time doing things like bracelet making, sledding, and snowshoeing, and playing games with lots of room for girls to help shape what activities they want to do. If you're interested, registration is open at tantmarnb.com/programs. And Trailblazers is back for another winter season. Kids will spend time outside learning things like how to spot animal tracks, build a fire safely, and get more comfortable being outdoors in the colder months. Spots tend to fill up, so if you're interested, registration is now open at tantmarnb.com/programs. And that is for Salem and Dorchester kids grades K to 4. Runs from February 2nd until April 1st. Okay, we're going to take a quick look at the CHMA community calendar, let you know what's going on. Well, there's a new thing. Dougie's is doing an open mic on tomorrow, on Saturday, at 4 p.m. And that is... it is, I guess, winding down the end of Christmas tree pickup. I don't know if anybody's day for collection is Friday here across the marshes, but if it was, then this will probably be the last chance of getting rid of the Christmas tree. And but I did see a post somewhere with somebody collecting old Christmas trees for a reason. So there's always lots of, and I think we still have a 2 or 3 year old Christmas tree in our backyard because we missed it once, but all the same. Eco360 was picking them up this week. Don McNutt's Timeless Forms at the Owens Art Gallery. Vernissage is at 7 p.m. tonight, and the gallery will have that exhibition up tomorrow until May the 12th. Tonight is also the Dorchester Climate Risk Discussion at 5 o'clock, and that's going to be over in Dorchester Veterans Dorchester Community Veterans Hall, 7:30. They'll have some refreshments, and there's also tonight a music faculty recital by the Marshes of Tantramar at Brunton Auditorium, 7:30. The farmers market, as usual, is up tomorrow because it's Saturday, and I mentioned the Duckies open mic. That'll be every other Saturday, so it's on this Saturday, not the next one. They're inviting folks to come by to do some music, poetry, comedy, whatever. Well, not necessarily whatever, because they do say acoustic performances only. So if you wanted to show up with that synthesizer, forget forget about it. It's not going to happen. They're just going to just turn you away at the door. No electronics. Acoustic performances only. Penny whistle, you're in. That's how it works, you know. If you come with a keytar, sorry. That is not going to work. Make Something Sunday, Pasta Maker Print Shop is up at the Owens Art Gallery 2 to 4 p.m. as the Make Something Sundays are always, and that's a great series that has started up again, and that's another thing that certainly helps with the dark days of winter. And just looking forward to next week. Next week is the week for Ducky's Trivia. Also the week for Bagtown Trivia. So Wednesday night, get all your trivia in. You can jump in on Bagtown, and then if that's not enough, run over to Ducky's on the Thursday and do it up. The film coming up is Secret Agent. Very much talked about film for Film Society. That's next Thursday. And Sunday the 25th. Got a writer's open mic is back. And a committee of the whole meeting coming up on the 26th. On Monday. So a whole bunch of things. There you have it. Hoping you feel informed now. We're going to move out of the news section of the morning show and get into, the music that we like to play so much here on the Voice of the Marshes. Here we go. And that was your CHMA news. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tantramara's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com. All right. Cameron Winter coming up with Love Takes Miles. I also have some Zen Soul with Focused on Me. And I'm also going to bring in some Marlena Moore with Pacer here on the Voice of the Marshes. And after this track with Cameron Winter, Love Takes Miles, I'm going to jump back in with a CHMA schedule reminder.